And I think in every one of our lives, there are those things the fear says, don't look at this. This is going to be bad. This is going to be scary. That if we will choose instead to say, no, I'm going to focus on it. Not only am I going to look at it, I'm going to focus deeply on it consistently. The truth we find is we are capable of far more than we thought. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I'm the founder of Forward Partners, and I'm joined, as always, by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace
Power
Deal. I'm laughing so hard because the title of this episode is Fighting Fear with Focus. So I was emphasizing the founder of Forward Partners. Sorry. Emily, what are we talking about today?
You say all the time that fear is trying to protect us, but really it just keeps us small and contained.
Yep.
So fear sounds, I'm still laughing. This is not, fear is like so sounds like one of those big factors that's like holding us back.
Yes, it is.
How do we learn to fight that?
I think it's interesting because fear is, we all have a fear in our head. We have this voice in our head that says, hey, if you do that thing, it's going to go bad. If you do that thing, it's going to hurt. If you do that thing, it's not going to go well for you, right? And so it stops us from taking certain actions that would actually probably be really good for us. It really is trying to just keep us in the box, because if we're in a box, we're safe. There's safety in not trying new things. The problem is when we start to grow outside that box, we start to experience new things, experience what's possible in the world. We really start to get a different view and we start to go do new things. But that's scary, right? That's dangerous. And I think our fears are very specific. I think they're very personality driven of, hey, I
literally, since we started this whole conversation, I keep thinking about Inside Out.
Yes.
And there's like fear is one of the characters. And he is a huge part of it because fear keeps us safe. And that's important. Like they use the example when she's little and she's like pushing her little thing and she has to step over the like cord to keep, like it's there for a reason.
It is. And there are times and moments when it does keep us safe.
Yes. But you're talking about the personality of it.
What's interesting is those are moments of danger, right? The problem is your fear is saying you're always in danger, especially if you're trying new things.
Right.
The reality is we're rarely in danger. Like we are sometimes. If we're dancing in traffic, we're in danger, okay? So our fear hopefully keeps us from dancing in traffic. But at the end of the day, if you're just trying to grow as a leader or as a human being, that's actually really, really good. But our fear will keep us from looking at the things we need to in order to grow.
Right.
I have, as an Enneagram 5, I have a fear of being inadequate, right? This has manifested historically in my business as I don't want to deal with financial stuff. Money is scary to me because what I'm going to see when I look at those spreadsheets and the QuickBooks and the bank account is that I am inadequate somehow. It's not been one of my strengths. So I've historically tried to just ignore it. And we've made it. We've done okay. Right. But we've never scaled. We've never truly thrived until recently. And I think part of the change has been focusing on whatever your fear said. Don't look at that. Don't do that.
You're
don't
just
try
avoiding
that,
it.
right? And there is something to focus to say, okay, my fear is telling me don't do this thing. Not only am I going to do this thing, I'm going to do this thing consistently. This is going to be a focus point for me.
Right. That sore spot can actually be the point of growth. Yeah.
Yes. And what's fascinating about this specifically is, our theme for the year was focus. We wanted to focus on personal growth, customer service, and financials. Financials was the last piece I got to. Like we had a lot of conversations first part of the year.
We'll do these two first.
Yeah. It's like, with personal growth, we're rocking, customer service. We've really leveled up. We're really rocking that. Thanks to other Emily. Financials. It was finally like, crap, we got to do this,
Oh no, we did those other things really well.
Right. But what's interesting that I found is I incorporated into my morning routine. This is where I say focus matters. My morning routine, part of it is I pull up, I'm a nerd, so I created a custom like profit and loss spreadsheet. I could just look at the numbers on QuickBooks, but I created my own spreadsheet to see, and more importantly, to input every single expense.
Wing 4.
It is the 5 wing 4. It had to be unique. It had to be my own. And so I created my own. And while I could just look at the numbers on QuickBooks, now I have to interact with them. I have to pull it. So I pull that up every morning, and then right beside it, I pull up the bank account. Say, okay, we had this expense. I plug it in the spreadsheet. And there's something about kind of like having people write things down. Now that expense is real to me. It is not just a number.
Right.
And here's what's interesting is the more I have focused on what I was afraid of, the more we're growing, the more the financials are growing, the more we're making better decisions based on truth. And honestly, the more I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
It is one of the most exciting parts of my morning routine. In fact, we were coming here to do this today. We were going to record all day, and I was in such a hurry this morning doing a lot of different things. I forgot about it, packed up my whole backpack, everything ready to rock and roll, walk out the door. I was like, crap, I never did that. I literally unpacked my laptop to sit there and go through that exercise to just understand where we're at. And
when you're a kid and you're told to like make it a game to enjoy it,
yes,
like you have to make it something enjoyable that you can understand and know.
Yes, and that it becomes that routine focus that what you find is truth. And what I found was actually not inadequate at this, actually pretty good at it. So the fear was lying to me and it was holding us back.
Right.
And I think in every one of our lives, there are those things the fear says, don't look at this. This is going to be bad. This is going to be scary. That if we will choose instead to say, no, I'm going to focus on it. Not only am I going to look at it, I'm going to focus deeply on it consistently. The truth we find is we are capable of far more than we thought. The fear is lying. That is the truth that is underneath all of this.
Yeah.
And so I think when we're really like being held back by certain fears, focus is the key. Can we focus on that fear? It's going to therapy, right? It's going, okay, that sounds scary because we're going to unpack things. But in that there's growth,
right? Because you even like, it's a good solution and then it's going to work out for you. And that's the part you're almost afraid of.
Yes.
Like just like the unknown of it.
The fear that it's going to be really painful to get to, I'm doing better, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the awkward, like, I know I have to do this to improve and I know that I want to be on the other side of it, but I have to like go through the whole thing to get there. Yeah.
And the fear says the pain's going to be too great, or the pain is going to allow other people to see how broken you are.
You'll be just fine without it.
The pain, you can figure this out. Don't worry about it, right? It just keeps us so contained. And I think growth is the thing that the fear is scared of. And the more we can focus on whatever the fear says, don't look here, don't look in this corner, the more we deeply focus on that, the more I think we're really going to find the growth we need, the next step. Because every time I've done that, I found whatever was the next step for my career, for my life, for my growth as a leader, as a father, as a husband. Like, I think that's where we find a lot of that is focusing deeply on whatever the fear's hiding, right? Yeah. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. No, look at the man behind the curtain. Like, we need to do that.
It did work out.
I don't remember Wizard of Oz. I was scared of the flying monkeys. Like, as a kid, they traumatized me. So I have not watched Wizard of Oz.
I love Wicked, and that's all about the behind the curtain. So
the monkeys are scary, though.
Monkeys are pretty minimal in that.
I can't handle it. All right.
You understand the monkeys better. It helps.
I don't want to understand the monkeys. I want them to go away.
That's your fear speaking.
Okay. Listen, we're not spinning this around to I have to watch The Wizard of Oz. I am not doing that.
Not The Wizard of Oz, just Wicked. It comes out.
Really wrecked this episode, didn't we? Really crashed that plane on landing, didn't we? Leaders, let's talk next steps. If there is an area of your life that your fear is saying, don't look at this, look at it. Really spend time navigating what that fear is telling you, and really in focusing on it, you're going to find it's lying to you, that it's trying to keep you small and contained. And the other thing that goes along with that is ineffective. You're not going to grow. You're not going to achieve the things you could achieve. And we talked earlier in a previous episode about instead of asking what could go wrong, ask what could go right. And by facing fears, we discover what can go right. And so I think that is really the key to fighting fears, with deep focus. Focus on what those fears are hiding from you. See what truth you find in that. This was an interesting conversation. I love this conversation. If people want to send us questions, if they want to send us pictures of flying monkeys to terrorize me, where do they send that to?
lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find the leadership content that we are producing and putting out all over social media, where do they find that?
@forwardpartner.
@forwardpartner on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. We would love for them to follow and engage and interact so that we can get to know them a little bit. We love our audience. Thank you so much for this conversation. John, thank you for producing. Next time we come in the studio, if there's a flying monkey in here, I'm going to be really unhappy.
That would be cool.
That would be terrifying. Thank y'all for listening. Thank you for watching. More importantly, share this with somebody. If you know somebody that's being limited by fear, share this episode with them. Maybe they'll find something in this that's helpful. We will see you next time right here on the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.